Before we begin, thank you very much to... Brace yourself. Log, 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 log. Log, 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 log. Log, 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 log. Log, log, log. Log, 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 log. Log, log, log. Log, 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 log. Log. Log, log. Log, log, log. Log. For joining the Patreon campaign. Every now and then I get a Patreon shout out that is designed specifically to test the limits of what I am willing to actually say on camera. I feel like that was it. And yes, I did specifically count out how many logs. I individually looked at each and every single one. I could have just done log times 28 or however many it was. But no, that's what was written. That's what I shouted out. Thank you very much. Okay, let us begin. We have a new Skybound issue out, and with 2 issues out that we have not discussed, this means it is time to review some more Skybound Transformer comic books. We're talking about issues 25 and 26. The start of the brand new era. We have a new artist. We have a new writing team. We have a new artist that's only going to be around for 4 more issues. But hey, we have them for now, and the artwork's really good in these books, so that's what I'm going to say. Okay, so we're going to go over the big story beats. We're going to go over the major events and the stuff I'm really excited for in these books. However, as usual, I really do want you to go read these books for yourself because they are very, very good comic books, and I do want you to absolutely support them. So that said, a lot of the visuals that I'm going to be using are from preview pages, they're covers. I will try to be keeping the art on the from the interior of the books to a minimum. Just the stuff that I feel like we really need to point out what's going on with the characters. So, this cover scared me. When we first got this cover revealed, this scared me so bad. I did not want this. I did not want this. But fortunately, no. This does not happen in the books. Chill. What I really like is that the books start off the Autobot side of the plot right where it needs to start off. They didn't immediately run back to try and recoup or their repair or get back to some kind of headquarters or pursue Decepticons. They stayed to help with the damage. And later in the books, into issue 26, Wheeljack even offers to help rebuild the city of Chicago. Awesome. Awesome. So that's actually really, really cool. Autobots acting as heroes. And what we see in this scene is the civilians who are still there and the people who are actually part of the rescue operations are actually very appreciative. They actually know that these are the good guys, which is such a relief to see. It's such a relief to see. But no, the rescue effort scenes are fantastic. It's Autobots doing what Autobots should be doing, being heroes. You see Beachcomber at it. You see Spike and Carly, who are actually in a first real moment of calm together for a long time. So you get very human moments with them. And Carly even points out that Spike kind of sounds like Optimus a little bit. He actually has a little bit of this wisdom, which he did touch the Matrix. We do know that there's this weird bit of mind sharing between Matrix and human connections now, so maybe a little bit of that did rub off. Maybe Spike is just a little bit wiser now. Cleanup duty is also where we have this guy, this person, Shredhead. I'm glad that they kept Shredhead to a minimum this time. I told you in the last reviews, people fought me in the comments section over this. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you are wrong. This is a absolute Mary Sue character. Look, I'm sorry. When you are writing a character that everyone talks about how great they are, even before they show up, is shown to be great in everything they do, and nothing has dared to challenge them or give them a difficult time so far, when they are allowed to kill off named characters to show how strong they are, when their first act is to be the big hero saving the main hero of the franchise and defeating his main enemy for him in the same one fell swoop. And don't tell me that's not what happened. Megatron was already asking for mercy before Optimus got the last hit in. Shredhead absolutely was the victor here. Shredhead absolutely did get the final blow. got the winning blow. Let's phrase it that way. But when you got all that going for you, and you have a super unique origin that gives you extra like abilities and strength that the rest of the cast don't have, you've written a Mary Sue. You've written a Mary Sue. You are one editorial step away from saying when Shredhead is not in frame, the other character should be asking where Shredhead is. Shredhead as a character has tremendous potential. I love the idea of this conjoined spark, where it's a lot of little leftover fragments all melded into one functioning spark. That presents fantastic story opportunity. And yes, a fresh hero in a very worn out war is a very unique situation and is bound to happen if we're introducing new characters. But I do feel it was very heavily handed. I do think it was trying way too hard to make the character way too cool, way too fast. I don't feel it was earned. I feel like they were intentionally overpowered, etc. This is the last time I'm going to rant on Shredhead. I just want to get that out of the way because I know people fought me on it before. People claim it's not a Mary Sue. You haven't seen Mary Sue's written before. I'm sorry. This is a Mary Sue character. But we're under new writing now. So maybe that gets quelled. Maybe that's brought back and we kind of examine the interesting points of the character rather than focus on, oh, aren't they special? Aren't they really, really good? Let's just move on. This is the last. I had an excuse to rant, and we're going to rant. So, as part of the Autobots' recovery efforts, they do return to the scene of where the Ark was. Recall, Skywarp teleported off with it last time. And we come back to the Ark teleporting back into its cave. So it just came right back. And Thundercracker is immediately freaking out over like seeing some kind of horrific monsters wherever they ended up on the other side of that teleportation. And immediately just starts freaking out. And here is where I really love Skybound Optimus Prime. With the change in staff, I was really worried we would lose this. No, they immediately establish we still have this. Prime enters the scene. And thankfully, most of the Autobots are pretty chill about what's going on. They're not actually trying to put down Thundercracker. They're just trying to talk him down. When Prime gets on the scene, the whole attitude of the situation changes. He's apologetic. He explains like what happened to Skywarp shouldn't happen to anyone, and he is promising. Like he is appealing to the Thundercracker that he knows hates what's going on and knows that he hates what happened to his brother. He is appealing to that, and he is doing the Optimus Prime thing of just saying what needs to be said at the time. And he promises Skywarp is actually going to get repaired, which is great. He actually successfully talks Thundercracker down. It's an Optimus Prime who looks for peaceful solutions to shut down tense situations. Oh my god, it might actually be a real Optimus Prime. It was great to see. It was great to see he didn't just go in guns blazing. Not happy about any of this is Ultra Magnus, who is going through it in these two issues. You'll recall he overcame his PTSD to rejoin the battle with the Decepticons in lieu of Optimus Prime, who was still, near death at the time. So the fact that he failed and the Decepticons were in the process of winning that fight, and the fact that now Optimus Prime is offering to support a Decepticon, the ones who tormented him for a century, Magnus is just a little bit off about all of this. Understandably so. It's like it creates this weird tension with Magnus. I'm genuinely curious if that goes somewhere. Especially given what happens later in this issue. We also had a scene during the battle, during the reconstruction on Earth, where Soundwave was left behind by the other Decepticons. So he had to be put down. He was taken captive. He's now prisoner on board the Ark. And Optimus is treating him humanely. Like he's taking it upon himself to bring Energon to Soundwave. And it's an interesting discussion because while Soundwave sees that like he's doing something good for him, he still very much believes in Megatron. Decepticon cause believes that the Autobots are in the wrong. Oh, and that's just two sides of the war. It's not all going to be Thundercracker who does not, who sees the greater good going on here, and is a little more understanding. No, he's still very much loyal to Megatron. Nothing's going to shake that, and that's Soundwave for you. He's going to spend these 2 issues locked up. He ain't going anywhere just yet. We know it's only a matter of time, though. But it's good to see, again, Optimus being humanitarian, trying to appeal to Soundwave, who thinks that Optimus is trying to trick him, deceive him, but really Optimus is just being humane, or whatever Cybertronian equivalent to humane is. You know, again, Optimus being Optimus. And here's Optimus being Optimus again. Wheeljack does announce that, you know, thanks to some new connections, we're going to talk about that here in a minute, they now have ample resources to get everyone back up, fighting fit, even repair everyone who's left over. And this includes Optimus Prime, but Prime's order is the ones who need it the most get repaired first. And the one who needs it the most is Skywarp. Mercy even to one's enemies. Again, this is Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime is keeping his promise to Thundercracker. He's not stringing him along or making him wait. The very first opportunity Optimus Prime has to actually keep his end of the bargain, he's taking it. That's Optimus. That's a fantastically written Optimus right there. It doesn't go well, despite the Autobots, you know, trying their best to help Skywarp while he was stuck in Teletran 1. RC took a missile for him, if you'll recall. He either that is clouded, or he only remembers what happened beforehand, before he was ripped asunder. And they do explain that that is the case. Skywarp goes nuts and starts shooting and starts a fight. I do not think it was a wise idea to repair a Decepticon amongst a bunch of Autobots and leave his weapons attached. That seems like a fallacy, especially when they just made a point of Ultra Magnus confiscating Thundercracker's weapons to make sure that he was on the level. So we do that with Thundercracker, but we didn't do it with Skywarp. So now Skywarp's going berserk and shooting everybody. And even Thundercracker can't talk him down. To him, to Skywarp, Thundercracker is just a traitor now. You stand amongst Autobots. How dare you? You will not be missed. And Thundercracker doesn't pursue. His words are, "You don't have to fear me. I'm where I belong. I've chosen my side." IDW Thundercracker fans, we might be feasting soon. But I am having a hard time fully believing it just yet. And it's because of this panel from issue 25, where we have a very scheming, red-eyed Thundercracker who looks like he is plotting something and that there is some reason for what's going on. Why did the Ark pop back in right where it originally was? Was it really just like a quick retreat from some horrific place? Or is this some part of some weird plan to get Skywarp repaired and back amongst the Decepticons and install Thundercracker as a trusted someone who will eventually turn out to be a spy? You know, what is that? Where does that lie? But that would, that is a possibility here. That's what makes me, that one panel makes me think that. But I also do realize that that would have been done, that plotting would have been done off frame, while the Ark was teleported away. Before that, we do know that he was absolutely livid with Soundwave and Starscream for ripping up and, installing Skywarp into Teletran 1. We know he hated that. And we also know that he hated what the Decepticons were doing to humans. He was actually letting humans escape. So I really want to believe that Thundercracker's good nature, that's supposed to be the heart of his character, actually comes through here. I want to be able to see Thundercracker with an Autobot symbol in this comic series, because it's one thing that IDW did not do. He never called himself an Autobot. He removed the Decepticon symbols, but he never called himself an Autobot. I want to see it. I want to see an Autobot seeker, and Thundercracker is it. So that's the bulk of the story. We are officially telling a Thundercracker story. I'm going to be reading the next issue next month very, very nervously. I am going to be very nervous for how this story develops. I'm just hoping that Skybound knows what a fan favorite Thundercracker is amongst the comic book readers, and I'm really hoping that they genuinely are going in like a positive, heroic track for his character. We will see. Okay, that said, we do have a few other things to touch on outside, because that's where your main story lies. To go for the rest of it, we do have new human elements. This is General Flag. General Flag is going to be our contact with the U.S. military, who at this point actually acknowledge that the Autobots are not the ones who ravaged the city, who were actively trying to save people, and are actually the Allies, or at the very least are putting up a good face about it, because not only did Flag provide the Autobots enough resources to get Energon for everybody's repairs, he also offered up 2 Transformers that happened to land in their custody, Mirage and Bulkhead, i.e. the G1ified Bulkhead that we saw in United, or Legacy rather. Yeah, that Bulkhead, he's here. So Bulkhead's actually in a G1 story, weirdly enough. It's interesting they went with Bulkhead here, considering like we haven't seen Ironhide. And I know they're trying to like, they're not, they're trying to leave out a few of like the mainstays. Bumblebee is still dead. I'm still shocked about that. So yeah, interesting. General Flag also has an ally that has also accompanied him. Miles Mayhem. Literally named Miles Mayhem. That doesn't set off a red flag for anybody, by the way. So apparently while Flag was taking Optimus Prime into their base and giving him the rundown of everything that they'll be able to provide to the Autobots, Miles Mayhem was up to his usual shenanigans, which was getting a full scan of Optimus Prime amidst transformation and amidst him being a robot in order to completely duplicate his form. This is how we get a hold of things like mask vehicles. I don't think this is going to produce any kind of like military response to the Autobots, like a potential deterrent, like a Nemesis Prime, for instance, in order to make sure they have like a backup weapon just in case Autobots turn out to be as bad as Decepticons. I could see that being a story hook. But right now, it really just seems like Mayhem makes sure, asks like if Flag knows about this, and no, he does not. So right now, only Miles Mayhem is aware that he does it. He shoots somebody in the head to make sure he's the only one who knows about this schematic. So Flag seems to be on the up and up for now. And Miles Mayhem is absolutely working against everybody here because, of course, we know Mask at this point. Also, his name is Mayhem. Back with the Decepticons, they don't really play a whole lot in this. A lot of the Decepticon scenes in these 2 books is just reorganization. Megatron getting his house in order, berating all of his remaining Decepticons for basically being shells of their former selves. Like where is that warrior? Where is that, where's that robot who was feared across Cybertron? That kind of thing. So it's basically Megatron just re-establishing his territory after so many tried to usurp it, from, Starscream, Shockwave, even Soundwave. It's him basically just saying, I'm back in charge now, follow me, giving one of his rallies. It's fascinating. There's also a scene here where they've salvaged all of the Energon they can, both from Megatron's hidden stores, but also everything that was left from Shockwave's attempt to gather Energon. And according to Megatron, it's barely enough to cover his repairs. And again, I love when the books show these parallels between Optimus and Megatron, where Optimus, we heard him just say, like, the ones who need repair first come first. He forgoes his own repair so Skywarp can be saved. Meanwhile, Megatron's only thinking of repairing himself. Difference in leadership right there. Huge difference in leadership right there. Making this huge speech and war cry to the Decepticons is how Megatron leads. Offering of Olive Branch to Thundercracker is how Optimus Prime leads. So again, parallels. The Cybertron side of things is actually pretty quiet. There is one incident here. I totally forgot about this. I forgot about this until I scrolled through it. Megatron has a Galvatron moment. Like that moment where like it looks like something is like invading his brain. And like his eyes turn purple. They go from red to purple. And it's very vague. It ends off the book. So we have no idea what is going on right now. If it had, I assume it has some kind of connection like to his origin in this book and like his past, how he got the gun mode, etc. Because a lot of shenanigans went up around that time. So I almost wonder if that's involved or if there's something else going on here. I don't think it's actually Unicron sending him headaches like in the 86 movie. I think it's literally just something that Skybound's cooked up themselves. Now let's get on to the Cybertron side of things. This is another one where Cybertron's kind of quiet in these two books. They really did focus on the Autobots' new position on Earth, restructuring, and the Thundercracker side of the story. Meanwhile, like on Cybertron, Elita is basically going to force Cliffjumper into a dangerous mission in Decepticon territory, basically to prove that he's not really a traitor to the cause. And Elita, after everything Prime has now done, has now started to consider him an enemy as well. He thinks, according to her, Optimus Prime has betrayed Cybertron for the sake of Earth, and so is Cliffjumper. So we have that going on over there. Cybertron is getting hostile. And if Lita makes this a rallying cry rather than just her personal belief, even the Autobots from Cybertron could eventually be an enemy to Optimus Prime and the Autobots on Earth. We've seen divided Decepticons in this series already when Starscream took control of the Combaticons. And now we might get to see a divided Autobot faction, which is actually really rare. And it is between the two characters known to lead Autobots in the original fiction, Optimus and Elita 1. So I'm super curious where that goes. Also, they dropped this bombshell on us. Cup's alive. He's missing half his face, but Cup's still alive. We all thought he got, murked in a previous issue. That's issue 7. Jeez, that's way back now. But no, he's still alive. A lot of the Cybertronians on Cybertron are just barely hanging on, but they are alive. So if they have the resources, then yeah, they could probably be fixed too. And we see Perceptor, we see Cosmos, so you have little inklings of who might be joining Elita 1's Autobot team. In a similar vein, Starscream's still alive. Despite how badly damaged he is, and despite Megatron just giving him another good beating to his corpse, just to show that he could, Starscream's eye goes from blue to red, indicating that yes, there is still a spark in there. It feels like we might almost get like because there's a little bit of mind control and influence from Megatron going on when he is Starscream. It also tells me that we might be in for like a split personality Starscream, where when his mind is clear and calm, he's Ulchtar, and when he is when there's battle going on or he's angry or power hungry, he's red-eyed and Starscream. It's fascinating to think about, but it's fun to see that he's about as unkillable in these books as he typically is. So Starscream's going to have developments. I have no idea how he recovers from how horrifically mangled he is at the moment, but it is a promise that he is going to recover. Between him and Cup, it really does make me curious, how much does it take to actually kill a Cybertronian in these books? Because we have seen a bunch of them die. Bumblebee at the start of the book. We lost Ratchet, very horrifically. We've lost one of the aerial bots. We lost Astro Train, which I think was a huge miss, and I still want to know who his love was that Megatron apparently killed. But all that said, death comes around pretty easily in these books, but then there's these characters who are super hard to kill. So I'm really curious, could we repair Bumblebee? Could we repair Astro Train? I don't know anymore. It seems like anything's on the table here. Speaking of anything being on the table, you remember how I said that Wheeljack was back in the cave where the Ark was, trying to investigate it? Guess what he found? Yeah. I mean, he found the most complete T-Rex skeleton that has ever been found, by the way. T-Rex skeletons usually do not have a complete set of bones like this. But you get the idea. He has become aware of dinosaurs. We are very, very slowly leading the charge toward Dinobots potentially being a thing in these books. And that's basically where we leave off the story for now. We are entering what it seems to be like what is going on with Megatron's head, the mission on Cybertron for Cliffjumper, what the human side of the story is up to, and of course the most important part, Thundercracker. And what is up with Thundercracker? I want good boy Thundercracker. I want Autobot Thundercracker so bad. But there might be something else to it. I don't know if that panel where it looks schemy is a red herring, or if that really was just him like mad and like driven crazy because of all the horrific sights that he saw when Skywarp teleported. I don't know if that's either a setup for Inhumanoids or some other Hasbro brand to come in, or it is a setup for Thundercracker to be a spy amongst the Autobots and still get Skywarp out to rejoin the Decepticons. I don't know, but I'm curious where it goes. I'm praying he's just a good guy. Let Thundercracker be a good boy. But there you go. Those are the reviews for the day. I'm still loving these books. I'm really curious where the new writing decisions go and exactly what's going on. We left off on a couple really good cliffhangers in this one. So, that is it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.